Greetings, ladies and middlegers, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. The first story tonight is called Transcripts of a Planetary Real Estate Agent, written by BombWitch4275. Thousands of years ago, my species challenged the universe and made our way into the cold, empty void. Our dreams of empires disappeared, as we found the process of terraforming to be more entertaining than the concept of an empire. For millennia, we spent our time wandering the galaxy, claiming a star system, and then terraforming it, instead of actually doing anything with it. Sure, we would mine and process certain planets and clear asteroids to recoup our losses, but, for the most part, we became an entirely space-borne species, with all the drawbacks and benefits as such. For countless years, we did this, eventually encountering a now infamous civilizations and species that dominate the galaxy in their own way. We mostly just ignored them and carried on. Then the Galactic Federation was formed. Wars happened, fights broke out, civilizations existed, and did what it did for over 1,000 years. Our planets and terraformed systems became coveted by every empire in the known universe. The Galactic Federation and a newfound religion declared these planets were sacred and decided to ban anyone from settling on them. We actually went to this federation and shat on this religion in display that sent the priests cowering back to whatever hole they crawled out of. We didn't want all of our hard work to effectively go to waste after all. What's the damn point of terraforming a planet to hold life when no life is allowed to be on it? Their claims were as predicted, baseless and stupid, and the Federation voted to exclude their kooky beliefs from the Federal Charter. But the problem of territory was a thing now, and people were gearing for war. As one does, apparently. Silly creatures. So we decided to expand our cultural repertoire, preventing violence, well, sort of, and continuing to do what we always did before without anyone whining about it. So that brings me to my job and why I am writing this dissertation for the Federation. We recently encountered a species of fast-breeding mammals that require an excessive amount of space. My job is sort of a real estate agent, in simple terms. My duty is to catalog star systems, note how they have been terraformed, and then sell those planets to whoever wants them. I have to take note of national borders, federal jurisdictions, and local traffic. Effectively, my entire job is just mountains of paperwork that somehow makes stupid people stop being stupid. A noble cause, I guess. Back to the humans. It turns out these crazy creatures will buy any planet on the roster, including failed projects nobody else wants to touch. The terraforming process has been all but perfected. Perfection is impossible, after all, and sometimes it goes wrong. The humans will buy these failed projects. Silly creatures. I've written this because humans have some proclivities we previously didn't know about, and have the potential to make some interesting waves in the galactic consensus. Pay attention. There is information here that could lead to some interesting circumstances. What follows are transcripts of several interviews and sales conducted over the last year with the humans. All transcripts have been sent already to the Council for review, but this needs to become public knowledge. Interview 1, M14D16A7, year 220. Human. Hi, my name is Jerry. Yours is? The human extended an appendage in an apparent gesture of goodwill. I reciprocated and got my arm shaken. Me. Hello, my name is Blue Blop Blue Blah Blah. Jerry. I can't pronounce that. Can I just call you Blue? Me. If it will accelerate this meeting, yes. What can I do for you? Sorry, that wasn't... Sorry, I would like to buy a planet or a bunch of planets or something. The human appeared to be emotionally disturbed. Sensors detected a motion called guilt. Okay, let me see, What are your preferred atmospheric conditions? Oxygen-based or rather? Oxygen-based, please. Mix of oxygen and nitrogen would be preferred. I typed on the computer. The human appeared to be strangely interested in what I was doing and tried to maneuver his head to see. We have a number of candidates available. What is your minimum comfortable temperature range? Comfortable. That depends on who you ask. If you ask some guy in Alaska, you'll be happy with snow. If you ask a guy in Texas, he'll like it hot. So, an exact number would be appreciated. The human blushed, and clearly he was unprepared for this meeting. He procured a device from his jacket and typed it into it. Apparently our minimum is between -40 Celsius and a maximum of 50 Celsius. This statement took me by surprise. I looked up from my console and blinked in shock at that. I'm sorry, what? Did you just say that your minimum comfortable temperature was between freezing and boiling?
Yeah. That's what the wiki article I pulled up says. But generally we prefer 0 to 30 degrees, so it says yes. I'm from Mars. I like it cool.
I see. Well, that doesn't narrow our options too much. I have 280,000 candidates that fill that preference. Can we narrow it down a bit more? What climate do you prefer? And what gravity class do you prefer?
Let me translate this into federal standard, and gravity class is a minimum of 0.5 Gs, which is a class 3, and a maximum class 12, which is 2.2 Gs.
I nearly fell out of my chair. These humans can withstand a constant gravitational force of that quality for an extended period of time.
Well, that's in the comfort range anyway. I know guys who live on a gas giant stations with 0.1 G, and they apparently like having no weight. Then there's the crazy hermit way back east. He lives on a magnetically dense planet that has a class 18. He seems to like it.
This statement made my brain short-circuit for a few seconds, and I was unable to speak for a while. The human had to wave his hand in front of my face to make my cognizance responsive again.
Hello? You okay?
No, I am not fine, but let us continue. What biome preference do you have? You just increased the candidate spectrum by a few 100,000. You are not making this job easy.
Biome preference? I don't think we have one. Jungle, forest, temperate plains. I don't actually think we have a preference for biomes. Again, it depends on who you ask, I guess. Let me see what I can... I need to ask a question from something. Hold on. Sorry.
No biome preference. They don't care. They have no biome preference. This effectively limits them to 90% of the planets that we terraformed throughout our entire history. This was concerning. The human typed something into his portable device and made grunting noises. Sensors described his activity as nervous shuffling.
Okay, I got an actual answer for once. Temperate forest, minimum temperature -5 to +20, preferable high rainfall. Prefer flat or relatively flat terrain, but any terrain is okay.
We are finally getting somewhere. What is your price range for a planet?
I have 200 million federal credits. What will that give me?
This is another statement that took me by surprise. One, that humans had that much money, and two, the humans thought that the process was that expensive. Okay, human, this is not that expensive. We sell planets as a hobby, not a business. The planets you ask for are not that expensive. Some planets we sell are sold for less than 10,000 on the market, and some planets are practically given away because nobody else wants them. We can sell you entire star systems for that money. In fact, I have 12 systems in your local cluster here, surrounding your home system, that I can hand over right now. The human looked very shocked, very surprised. Sensors described him as flabbergasted. To clarify, we would give these planets to whoever wanted them. The reason we charge money is for federal administration fees and border registration fees, and it's not so expensive that you would need the cash to buy an entire planetary defense fleet. So that brings us to the point. For 20 million credits, I can supply you with the settlement rights to every star system within 12 light years of your solar system. Is that okay? Sensors detected signs of emotion labeled elated and surprised.
I'll take it.
Oral receptors overloaded at the loud volume. The human was admonished for the increase in volume and warned not to do it again. Interview concludes. Interview 2, M14D21A7, year 220. Hello, I'm Dr. J.B. Swan of the Martian Geological Institute. I have a specific request. Hello, my name is Bluey Boplupois. You can call me Blue, I think. That'll expedite things. What can I do for you? I need a planet with oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere, high geological activity, preferably including volcanic activity or excess tectonic activity. You are looking for a planet with excessive tectonic activity. You want a magmatic planet. That is correct. Temperature and biome range is optional. We can set up a platform in orbit for our supply operations. All I want is geology. What for exactly? Study. The purpose is to study it. Our home world is geologically active, and we have made a study of the activity into an art form. We want to see how it works on a similar world and see if we can create a predictive model that can help us track earthquakes a bit better. Give us some warning, among other things. I'm sorry. Your whole world is geologically active. Not nearly as to the extent for the planet that we are looking for, but yes, old Mother Earth is a highly active planet. Earthquakes, tidal waves, hurricanes, thousands of volcanoes. We even have a place called Hawaii, which is an entire tourist hub built around an active volcano. And a hell of a place to get a good tan. The census detected emotional, labeled smug. I, however, was taken aback by the statement. What kind of abomination was the species' homeworld? I have 283 candidates available for use that fit your criteria. The best one I can offer is planet called PX1103L. What is the rate of the continental drift and fault line proliferation? Do you know? I blinked in surprise. They had that deep of knowledge of the topic. It says here, continental drift is up to 1.2 feet per cycle, and I'll take it. Sounds perfect. Again, surprised at the statement. For reference sake, on your homeworld, what is the rate of drift cycle? Approximately, depending on the continent in question, 0.6 inches per year, on average. So around half a galactic standard metric unit per year. I went into a state of shock. That is 3 times the galactic average for an inhabited planet, and these humans came from it. They evolved on this planet. Are you, okay? You haven't said or done anything for several minutes. I'll be fine. That'll be 6,000 federal credits for administrative fees, please. Just admin fees. What about the planet itself? Hold on, wait a minute. Did you just say about Hawaii and an active volcano? You mean to tell me that you have settlements on islands of volcanic activity? Of course, Hawaii, Japan, Iceland, even the burgeoning settlements surrounding the ice geyser on Mars. They are tourist hotspots. Then there's the supervolcano at Yellowstone. You have a supervolcano? You mean the planet-ending supervolcanoes on your planet? Yes. We have 20 of them, actually. Yellowstone is just the most well-known and well-documented. I swear the hot springs are some of the best in the world next to Mount Fuji. I'm sorry, but 20 supervolcanoes? Did you just say that you have more supervolcanoes on your one planet than Magma World does? Well, yes. But for clarity's sake, only 12 are believed to be active, and only 2 of 3 are considered a reasonable threat. What is the point of hot springs? What's a hot spring? Pools of semi-boiling or very hot water that collect in underground streams inside volcanoes, bubble up to the surface and produce a wonderful, warm, mineral-rich bath that we bathe in or sit in to relax. It's quite nice. The interview concluded as the medical teams had to be dispatched. I passed out from shock. Interview 3, M14 D29 A7, year 220. Hi, my name's Reggie. My name is Blue. Blue. Just call me Blue. How can I help you? High terrain deformation with maximum possible landform scale, preferably with low temperatures and snowfall. Okay, a frozen mountain world. I have a few candidates available. Do you have a reason for this? I want to turn the entire planet into a ski resort. I'm going to make millions. Census detective excessive smug. I see. What is this ski resort thing? A place where crazy people come to use wooden poles and various implements to practice athletic feats while traveling at excessive speeds on snow or ice. I see. At what temperature do these events usually take place? Somewhere around -10 to -30, when the snow falls heavy and coats the ground with a nice fluffy cloud of cold wetness. Perfect for boarding, skiing, and at those temps it's good for ice skating too. I see. I have a few candidates that fit your request, but probably can use it to hold some tournaments, maybe an Arctic expedition contest or something. Biannual pole race. God, that would be a freaking epic. Okay, hold on a moment. What is the lowest temperature ever recorded on your planet's surface? If I recall correctly, the lowest temperature we ever recorded was -89.2 Celsius. That was before the mega eruption in 2087, though. The lowest temp we got was at the South Pole. That hit -102 Celsius. That was a fun day. Surprise. Shock. No words said for 5 minutes at this revelation. I'm sorry, you said something about magnetic poles of your planet. Out of curiosity, What is it like down there?
As low as -100 with a wind chill factor, sometimes with blizzards that reduce visibility to almost zero. Solid ice sheets are kilometers thick. Sometimes they crack open because of geological activity. Creates temporary canyons the size of Manhattan sometimes. Snow and ocean just fills it all back in.
That's absurd. How did you manage the drones to get those kinds of recordings?
Drones? We didn't send drones. We didn't even know what drones were back then when we sent the first expeditions, dude. Back then, we just had sleds and huskies to pull them through the snow. Generally, we just put it on a coat and go for a walk with funny shoes.
You did what? You sent people to a place 100 degrees below freezing?
Well, yeah. That's nothing compared to the crazies that live out there. Got a few settlements and stations around the Arctic still. Kind of the cookie, if you ask me. But to be fair, we didn't send anyone. They volunteered. Interview terminated due to panic attack. Planet sold to human as a means to get them out of his office. Interview 4, M14, D3A8. Year 220. Council has been informed of abnormal and anomalous activity on the human home world. By this point, all conversations with humans are being recorded for record and study. An expedition to planet Earth is currently being planned. Hey, name's Johnny.
Blue, just Blue. How could I help you today?
Isolation. I would like access to a habitable planet with a breathable oxygen atmosphere that is as isolated as possible. Temperature between 0 and 25 degrees Celsius. No or little vegetation.
I see. I have a few candidates that fit that request. A few failed projects that we have available. May I ask why, though?
As I said, isolation. I'm a brewer, a beer maker, an alcohol aficionado. I want a place all my own that I can use to grow and make the perfect brew. I need to be alone so I can concentrate.
I'm so sorry, what? Alcohol? What do you mean by the perfect brew?
Humans procured glass bottle. Glass bottles were scanned, contained toxic substance alcohol. Human consumes alcohol and senses detect satisfaction and happiness, instead of feelings of agonizing pain and horrible death. I visibly retch at the sight. Oh, yeah. Good old Honey Jack. Such a good brewer. But I know I can do better, you know. I need a planet that I can put bees on so that I can get the honey. Can grow hops and wheat. Need a good bit of space to make a perfect brew. I know I can make it. I just need time and space. No interruptions. So, got anything I can use?
I'm sorry, you want to make one of the most toxic substances in the galaxy in bulk. You want to improve it.
It ain't toxic to us, bro. You aren't my market, but yeah. I want space to make a perfect brew. Wine, beer, whiskey, scotch. I want to have a whole world that I can work with, some hops and shit, and crossbreed and work with. Maybe even some moonshine for fun. It's gonna be glorious. Interview concludes. Human is given planet freely to leave the office. Local authorities are informed of humans' plans and patrols are increased. First crops appear on the planet's surface 1 week after landing. The planet is declared a no-go zone by most Federation species. Council returned from Earth expedition in catatonic state. Humans officially declared a Deathworld species. Earth declared a no-go zone for all Federation and Council species. Humans officially gifted all uninhabitable planets with full rights within all sapient space. Galaxy officials describe humans as barking bloody mad. Humans have no range in temperature, can live almost anywhere. It varies between individuals, but can sustain long-term states of habitation in nearly any environment, on the proviso of oxygen and food supply. End of story. Story number 2, The Festival of Proof, written by Forsaken Stray. Ambassador Raymond. Dear members of the committee, as you all know, I went to the Council of Races to ask why the humans won the Festival of Parental Love without participating or even sending a team, and have continued to do so since the Festivals of Proof had been held for their inauguration into the Council. And when I asked the Speaker, he was laughing out loud, telling me that this question had almost become another Festival of Proof in itself in recent years. He waited for the murmur to quiet down before he continued. It seems that for certain time frames, certain attributes come to light. Asking on the day of festivals makes them petty. A few weeks later seems to correspond with just and fair races. A few months are ambitious, and those who wait for years tend to be isolationists.
They seemed to have a chart for the whole question, changing on whether it was an official inquiry, a business deal, or a casual question over a diplomatic meeting. One of the members of the committee interrupted his explanation. "What's the point? Just give us the answer." The ambassador stared at the impatient Admiral down until he averted his gaze. "The point, Admiral Gorchev, is that, while this action may seem like blatant favoritism towards new races, there is not a single member race in the Council that disagrees that humanity truly deserves the first place. And after the speaker took me to the holodeck to show me the recording of the Festival of Parental Love that is hosted for the humans, I have to agree, no other race can compete with them." The ambassador turned around and started up a holoprojector. "While it is warming up," he continued, "I was asked to show this recording to you in one condition. It is the same recording that I have seen on the Council station. The condition is that this should be, under no circumstances, shown to a race that has not yet asked the question. If we are asked the question, we are to notify the Council and show the one asking this video as well." The holodeck hummed, and the ambassador started the recording. It showed an arena for the Festival of Parental Love, although the modern version had many more security and defensive systems. Just like our festival, the Humans Festival had each race sent multiple families to the arena and used a hard-light projector to make a beast rampage through the arena. The families would need to show off how their ancestors would defend their offspring and scare away the predator. "Yes, obviously an easy win for the Phalanx formation," interrupted a general from the Second Army. "Yes, General Kopesh. Since we had found out the nature of the festival beforehand, we were able to send families of soldiers to the event. The humans didn't have that advantage." The recording zoomed in on the human group, showing 3 young human children, 4 female and 2 male humans. They were talking amongst each other in a relaxed and joyful manner, while the children were playing together in the sand of the arena. As you can see, they were average citizens, having even one less male due to their sexual behaviors, so logically, our team would have been superior. But, and I quote, "humans don't do logically." The recording showed an unrest in the participants, and the camera zoomed out just in time to record the beast bursting through the fortified wall. It was a massive animal, the frame and mass of a rhinoceros, having 3 sets of horns from a bull arranged to point towards the spot just above its forehead. Its back and sides were covered by spikes, like those of the Ankylosaurus, automated comparison to equivalent fauna. And unexpectedly, it wasn't a hard-light projection. This Crotacan gore beast was supposed to be chained into a scanner to create a projection for the festival, but it broke loose and into the arena. They are a non-sapient predator that normally hunts in pairs. They're either running down their prey with their hooves or ramming them with their forehead. Afterwards, they shake their heads to impale the prey or make them bleed to death by wounding them from both sides. With the arrival of the beast, the warrior species took their offerings and formed a wall in front of them. The skittish species retracted as far as they could, and species capable of flight fled into the skies by instinct. The beasts turned towards its favorite prey, avian chicks incapable of flight. It slowly walked up to the younglings, the parents hovering above them, unable to carry their young to safety, but also not capable of harming the beast. When it stood above the terrified chicks and lowered its head to kill the first, a figure darted across the screen and impacted the beast's head. One of the female humans had thrown themselves against it, and the impact of their shoulder had stunned the beast. They used the opportunity and grabbed the middle set of horns and started ramming their knee into its snout repeatedly. The camera that focused on the beast now zoomed out and showed that the humans moved towards the beast, and not only the participants of the festival. The humans from the audience had broken off items of the viewing platform to use as weapons and had jumped into the arena. The unarmed and weaker ones led the children that had been left behind towards the walls and stayed to protect them, while the armed and strong ones rushed towards the beast and started hunting it. Whenever it moved to one side to be able to ram its spikes into the attackers, the humans there retreated, while the ones on the other side redoubled their attacks. Only 9 humans held its head completely in place. 1 held each horn, 1 fixed its forehead in place, and 2 had grabbed its neck. The human children went to the chicks, patted their heads, and led them away from the beast to the last of the participants' parents, who yelled something, and the children followed them, hand in wing. While the children were slowly being evacuated, more and more humans came to attack the beast, some even prying off the scales of the beast to use as his own spikes against the soft flesh. The ambassador stopped the recordings and said calmly, 6 minutes after the beast had breached the arena wall, it collapsed on the floor, too wounded to stand. Most of the humans moved away from it, while the ones with the longest weapons continued to attack it from outside its reach. Not even a minute later, it was dead. The humans had already checked each child for injuries, put small adhesive patches on scratches, and praised the children for being brave by that time. All children, not only the human ones. They've even given some of the adults of smaller species the same treatment. Anything that was afraid and smaller than the humans was treated like one of their children and protected. He looked over to the committee members and saw them shocked by the actions of the humans. Some were astonished by the bravery of the humans. Others were touched by their will to protect. Ambassador Raymond was especially pleased by the confusion on the faces of the military people in the room. I see that some of you are not looking at the humans' goodwill. You're looking at the beast. You are very justified in doing that. He returned the picture to the human, holding down the gore beast with almost 20 times their own mass, until other humans came to support her. A few humans had killed an apex-level megafauna predator without sustaining a single serious injury, with scrap appropriate as weapons because it attacked a juvenile of a different species. This is the raw insanity of the human race. This is the second reason for why they hold the first place, because no other species would go that far and actually survive. The general looked heavily impressed, but the admiral had a smirk on their face when he asked, "So the children are their weakness? That can easily be exploited." The ambassador shook his head. This moron couldn't be more predictable if he had published a script for his comments beforehand. Well, the last ones to try that were the Chronotians. They attacked a human station in hopes of provoking the peace-loving and diplomatic humans into starting a war so they could justify taking territory. They killed every adult in the station, and they broadcasted themselves eating all the children they found. Humanity gave them the war they wanted. The admiral looked confused. "I haven't heard of the Crotonians before. Where is their territory?" Raymond opened a map, and part of human territory was displayed in red. Their territory was located here. It is now a human frontier. The humans have taken over their territory. Perfect. Then we can stage a coup to weaken them. A sigh escaped the ambassador's mouth. The third reason that humanity is granted the first place is that when a different sentient species killed their children, all of humanity mobilized, annihilated the enemy, devastated their planetary defenses, and burned their colonies with nuclear fire, cracked their home planet in half, and spent the next 3 years hunting and killing every single survivor they could track down. Humanity single-handedly exterminated an accomplished species because they killed a space station worth of children. And when asked why they went so far, their representative answered, "It's the only way we can be sure they won't be able to harm any more children." The admiral had the color drain more and more from his face with each point the ambassador mentioned, and he was almost crying when the holodeck showed a planet that was cracked in two, looking like a rock that was dropped from a considerable height and broke apart from the impact on the ground. "Do you still believe that we should touch their children, Admiral Gorchov? Do you truly think that this is the best course of action our species can take?" He took a deep breath and let his gaze sweep over the members of the committee. The festival of parental love is no longer a competition for first place. It is a test of character for the newcomers, to see how they would react to perceived injustice. It is a lesson that if you don't know something, it is best to ask others and to cooperate. It is the last warning that there is a race so fanatically protective of their offspring that they would burn down a whole galaxy to ensure their offspring are able to mature in peace. And finally, it is a plea to not give a peaceful humans an enemy to protect their young from. With these words, he turned off the holodeck, and a heavy silence blanketed the meeting. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Caspar Arnholt, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.